Hey everybody, this is Dr. Lilly again, and you should have already watched my weekly overview video already for this week, known as Video Week, and I went over all the guidelines. So right now, I'm just gonna show you some examples of what students have done before for this project. And again, there's going to be two things you need to do to essentially turn it in. And one is, they're both due by Sunday, and one is to embed the video on your website on a page, preferably like this, on a page that has the audio on it already from last week. And to do that, usually for WordPress, we'll just automatically recognize it's a YouTube video. So all you need to do is get the share link from YouTube after you upload it there, and paste it on into a page, like a paragraph block, and it should instantly recognize that it's a YouTube video and embed it. You do want to go ahead and save and publish that page and just go look at it and make sure that it's showing up as an embed like this. So let me show you this first example.
I'm here with sophomore Jacint John of Loyola University, Maryland. How are you doing today, Jacint?
Good, thank you for having me.
All right, Jacint, today we're going to be talking about apartment living, especially on college campuses. What do you like about living in an apartment?
There's many things to like about living in an apartment. You have your own space, your own living room, your own kitchen, you have your own bathroom. All things that you're not sharing with random people that you don't really know. One of my favorite things about living in an apartment is, if you have a good group of guys, you never feel the reason to leave.
Is there anything you dislike about living in an apartment?
There's definitely some difficulties. I mean, you have to keep up with trash. Living on 4th floor in Newman, you gotta have a long walk from the elevator to go outside and dump your trash, so it piles up. Also, living with a bunch of guys, not a lot of dudes like to clean, so we gotta disperse cleaning one way or another, find a way to do it. And it could be kind of distracting, like you're just here having fun, everything. You see these jerseys and a bunch of posters, and it doesn't really give you a mentality to do schoolwork. So just focusing up, trying to get my schoolwork done. It's a big difficulty, but it's worth it in the end because that's real life.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, so there's several things that I like about this one. And first of all, so it has a good beginning and ending. And so at the beginning, so we don't see who's talking.
I'm here with sophomore Jacint John of Loyola University.
So that's what we call a voiceover. So he added a voiceover to introduce what the topic is and introduce the speaker here. You saw that there was a couple transitions. So it was a couple different clips that he took of his friend, and there was like a kind of a little light burst transition to kind of cue to the visitor that okay, this is the end of one clip and the beginning of another, and then we have a good ending. The camera is stationary, so he has a good kind of a head and shoulder shot here, and I could definitely hear the interviewee's voice, and the jingle or music behind in the background was a good level. So overall, oh, and also the lower thirds, the captions were well used, and he used a little kind of transition for that too, where the caption comes in from the side. So the rule with captions is that you want, as the viewer, to be able to read it in kind of leisure. So for you all, when you're putting captions in, then you read it and time yourself, and you should have it in there at least maybe 2 to 3 times as long as it takes you to read it. So if it takes you like 2 or 3 seconds to read this sentence here, then that means that it should be up there for probably like 6 to 7 seconds. And that's because as a viewer who doesn't expect a caption, all of a sudden the caption comes in, and then I have to realize, oh, okay, here's something for me to read, and people read at different speeds. So you should have the captions be on there longer than you think. And then I'm not sure if there was a title slide here, but there is a credits or some kind of like ending, like it could just say fin or the end, or just something at the end is nice and at the beginning. And then so it's an option for you to, if rather than doing one video that has two interviews, you could do two separate videos, and that's fine. I don't think of it as being easier, because that means for each one you got to focus on the beginning and any transitions and an ending and lower thirds, and so and if you want to do two, that's fine. If you want to just do one, so what we have here is we have two videos that are each a little bit longer than 2 minutes. So I think you did a pretty good job for those. For this one, let's see. Oh, I just put this in there just for something you to be aware of. Now, the reason why she might not, the video might be broken here. Maybe she took down the video on YouTube later after the semester's over, right? But you don't want me, when I'm coming to grade your videos, to see this. So what this means is, make sure when you upload your video to YouTube, you designate it as being public. And then when you go to embed that URL, the share URL, into your WordPress page, then it should show up and it will play. Now, sometimes there might even be a preview in WordPress, but if you don't press play and just make sure it works, and sometimes you'll see a preview screen, and then you hit play, and they'll say, oh, this video is private, you can't play it. So you don't want that to happen to me. So just be aware that you need to test your video on your site, actually play it on your regular view of your site, just to make sure it's working after you embed it. So here is another one.
Hi, my name is Lauren, and this is my typical Saturday at Loyola. In the mornings, we usually like to go to Roland Park Bagels, where we can grab something to eat for breakfast and talk as roommates.
All right, hi Sophie.
Hi.
Hi, so what do you like to do on Saturdays at Loyola?
On Saturdays, I like to go, like during the night, go get dinner, like in the Inner Harbor area with my friends. And then I also go to the gym a lot. And I have intramural games on Saturdays too, or like Sundays. So those are really fun also. You just get to like play with your friends. So yeah, I just kind of hang out with my friends all weekend and maybe do some work on Sunday.
Nice. All right, thank you.
After bagels, we went to the FAC. We usually go to the FAC every Saturday to let loose and blow off some steam and work out a little bit. After, we got dinner in Hampton, which we usually do on Saturdays.
Jessica.
Hi.
So what is your favorite things to do on Saturday at Loyola?
I usually like going to either brunch or dinner with my friends. I think it's really nice just getting off campus for a little bit and just enjoying each other's company. I also really like going to the FAC with my friends in between getting some work done, just because I like to be productive on the weekend still, but also just try like getting a break from all of my work.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks.
After, we went to our usual ice cream place, the Charmery, and finished the night at the dance show. Thank you so much for watching. That was my typical Saturday at Loyola University, Maryland.
Okay, so there's one thing. So one thing to be aware of is that just make sure that the length of your video, sometimes if maybe she has a credit here at the end, I'm not sure why it would export with all this blank space, but this is another reason why you want to make sure you test it. And then if you notice this gigantic awkward kind of space at the end here, you go back and edit it out. So I like let's see how long the title slide is. We didn't see that before.
Hi, my name is Lauren, and this is my typical Saturday at Loyola.
Okay, so I'd say two things here. She's talking really fast. Now, granted, this is not a course in video journalism or journalism in general. So we're not talking about things like how to have a good voiceover voice and voice training. But she does talk really fast there, and that's just something to be aware of if you're going to do voiceovers. Is try. Most of us talk faster in person than we realize, And when you're doing a video, you want to try to slow it down a little bit and really try to enunciate. And so she talks really fast, and her title slide could have been up there a little bit longer to be able to read it.
Typical Saturday at Loyola. In the mornings, we usually like to go to Roland.
She has some background music in there. It's very faint, so I would almost bring it up a little bit more. And then she does have a few issues with some of the levels.
Hi, so what do you like to do on Saturdays at Loyola?
So, in this kind of environment, you can tell that there's a lot of noise in this Starbucks or whatever it is, wherever she's at. And so you really need to be close to her, even if it's kind of awkward to hear her voice way above it. And I could tell that the student editor here brought the level, the volume up to be able to hear her better. And when that happens, the background noise, of course, gets louder too. In this second interview, there's also some noise, but she got pretty close to her friend here, and which is fine. I mean, that's a fine headshot. You don't want to be closer than that, but you need to be close in that kind of environment where you want to hear the person's voice a lot more so than the background. So she lost a lot of points for that. That's just something to be aware of. And then at the end here, when she's kind of talking about just the other things, that there's not a lot of sound here.
Charmery and finish.
So I would bring up the music for this part, and the edit's really fast. You go Charmery.
To our usual ice cream place, the Charmery, and finish the night at the dance show.
So I mean, the dance show was so brief of a video clip that I either make it longer or just cut it out. So this is, in general, this is a different kind of approach, right, to this assignment. You had the first student over here, traditional interviews, and this is a more of a day in the life video with the interviews thrown in. So I mean, by all means, be creative. You could do it that way. You could go on a hike with your parents, and you could have the hiking video clips and then the interviews with your parents thrown in, either on location, like during the hike, or maybe later on at home. So there's lots of different options to be able to do this and be creative and have fun, and then still fit in the 2 interviews. All right, so let's look at another one here. So I'm not sure if this is a video. So obviously, just to critique the video, I mean, the video and the editing is all great here, right? So, and maybe this was not the one she submitted for the assignment, because obviously we don't have the 2 interviews in there. But if she threw in a couple interviews with her friends, then that would be great. I mean, the quality of the video and the editing was all really good. We don't have any lower thirds, so maybe this wasn't the one. Here's another. Let's see what she has here. Maybe this was it.
Hi, I'm Natalie Labib. For spring break, I went home to my hometown, Manhasset, New York. Only there for about 3 days because the rest of the time I was traveling. The thing I missed most about being home was my car, because I love driving. Like changed, obviously. So that's everything I did over spring break. I'm really excited to go home in a couple weeks and eventually go home for the summer.
Okay, so that's a really good kind of uh, video that has a lot of B-roll. So the B-roll is where you're not actually focusing in on an interviewee, and it edited in with several interview clips that were kind of short and clean. So overall, we had the nice lower thirds. I mean, and your Adobe Rush application, there's a couple different kinds. So she has like a lower traditional introduction of an interviewee's name. So that's one way if you're doing interviews, or you can highlight the question like the first student did. And then I really liked her introduction title slide here. And I'm not sure if she had a exit or ending slide, but the levels of the music were all really good, and they went way down or further down. And when we had the interview, the quality of the audio for the interview was good as well. All right, here's another example with 2 interview clips.
All right, Chet, so what are your plans for after this year ends of school?
Probably just relax, chill. It's like the last summer where I can do whatever I really want to, you know, without having a job or whatever. I'll probably do some research over summer with my professor, unless I get lazy, which I probably will. Make some music, learn how to swim. I'm 20 years old, don't know how to swim, that would be cool. I'm not really into traveling, probably eat some Chick-fil-A. What else am I gonna do? No schoolwork will be done.
Most likely I'm gonna start an internship in Philly, where I will be doing data analytics for pharmaceutical company.
Any family vacation plan this summer?
Yeah, I will be visiting my family in Ecuador for 2 weeks, and then we will also be on vacation.
So let me just intersperse here. So, you know, it's okay to have more casual kind of atmosphere to your interviews like this. I would like to have more lower thirds. So for example, at the very beginning, we have the use of captions for the title, and that's good. But I would like to have lower thirds come up to like tell me what his name is and maybe what year he is or what his hometown is. And then in the audio level here, there wasn't a lot of background noise. So I could hear him, despite the fact that we're kind of panned fairly far back. I mean, he could have more of a close-up shot of his head and shoulders, but I could still hear his voice fairly clearly. But in this second interview here, he's too far back, and I can hear the interviewee's voice really well. But this guy's the interviewer's voice, but his voice, the interviewee, he's too far back and he's too quiet. So in Rush, you can raise the volume, but then any kind of on that track, but then any volume or any background noise is going to be amplified. So since this is one single shot, we have the interviewee's voice and the interview's voice on the same track. So if you raise the volume on that track, then his voice as the interviewer would all of a sudden become really, really loud. So the only way to really fix this would be to retake the video and be closer so that the microphone on the phone, the smartphone, was closer. So maybe this is a different one because we already have two interviews here. So some things to do. Like I said, it's okay to be, and the lighting's not so great in here. And again, a closer up shot would be better. He does have some background music in there, which kind of added a little bit of kind of flow.
Here with Cam, we are gonna do a little interview. So what are you most excited about coming in the next few weeks at Loyola?
Definitely the thing I'm most excited for is the Lollapalooza. I mean, every year is just a bunch of fun. I get to spend outside with my friends right near when exams start kicking in. It's a nice little break from everything and from classes, and it's really awesome to just have a nice little fun playground on like the quad basically for everyone for a few hours. It's a really special occasion, and I'm a sophomore now, so I only experienced it once, but last year it was a bunch of fun, and honestly, I'm not gonna win one on it.
Here with Jared, we're gonna do a little interview. So Jared, are you excited about the events in the next coming weeks at Loyola?
Oh, I'm so excited. The spring always has so much to do at Loyola. Loyola Palooza. That's about it. And we I love Loyola. I literally couldn't think of anything else that happened. Bring Five Guys back to Inner Harbor.
You heard the man.
You heard it.
You heard the man.
You know what?
Walk out.
I'm done.
Okay, I mean, so this is kind of another example that's
Here with Cam.
more of an informal, and that's okay. He does use a title screen and captions for their names. The lighting is better. We're more close up compared to the previous one. And my only critique still would be their voices are a little bit too loud. So sometimes you have to remind, get close, and then if someone's just really soft spoken, just ask them if they could try to speak up. It's not a big deal because I can hear him pretty well. This second guy, particularly, his voice was harder to hear. And then we have a little B-roll. I guess the interview is still going.
Downstairs, you buy yourself a cone. And bada boom. This is college.
Oh wait, I guess I skipped past something just a second.
This is what Loyola's all about.
Can I just get a large cone for chocolate, please? Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Carry on.
Cam, how was your ice cream?
Amazing. You see, these are the nights at Loyola you want to look for. You know what I mean? You're in your room, right? Let me set the scene. You're in your room, slightly dirty room. Excuse the room. And then you hear the nice jingle. You know what I mean? You recognize it.
So his voice here is pretty good. So I don't mind. I mean, obviously, if you're moving around, then you're gonna have some movement. But he's still staying close to his interviewee. So the volume is still pretty good. So I mean, that's one of the stronger points. And then he has the credits at the end. And then the nice music that added some kind of ambiance, some kind of mood to the video was good. All right, I think this will be the last one we'll look at.
The great yellow sun is reflecting in your deep blue eyes. The day has begun. You spin around, you laugh to yourself, and I see you shine in every color, resting your head in my arms.
Hi, my name is Maxwell, and I'm one of the event chairs for Relay for Life. So the event chair's role is to plan almost the big picture of the event, so just logistics, talking with events, and then the different clubs that perform at the event.
Hey, good to see you there. My role at the event was, I was part of the Luminaria committee. So the day of the event, we were in charge of setting up the loom bags all around Greats Arena that lit up during the Luminaria ceremony. What else? We handed out glow sticks for the Luminaria ceremony. And
I thought the event went really well this year. We were up $22,000 from last year, which is great, and we had great attendance.
Okay, so one thing you notice about this video is we don't see or we don't hear the interview interviewer's voice, right? So you don't have to do be in the background or do a voiceover. Instead, she uses the captions in the title screen. So that, I mean, she had a good title screen here, and it was on for a long time. So as a person coming and finding the video, I understand what it's about. And then she used a lot of captions, and she used that because perhaps she didn't want her voice to be on here. So we have lots of captions, and then the questions that the interviewees are answering are in big captions, and they're up there for a long time. So, you know, this is another option. If you don't want your voice in there, then just really use the captions. Make sure they're up there long enough for a person watching the video. Again, it's the rule is to read it yourself, time yourself, and to do it at least twice as long. To up there on the screen. And then the interviews, I could tell that she's has her camera against the table here, so it's steady, and it could be almost a little bit closer. I mean, there was some background noise here, which is kind of surprising. I guess maybe the air conditioning was on pretty strong, and this one probably could have been closer because the background noise was louder almost than her voice. And then we have some nice narrative flow with the other parts that aren't about the interviews, and giving the captions and telling us what we're seeing. And at the end here, you know, maybe some level issues, but I'm not sure what you could do about that. I mean, you could turn it down, but then you wouldn't be able to hear this part of the event was obviously really loud. And then we have a credit screen at the end. So overall, I think a pretty good job. And again, you know, it could be about lots of different things. And the interview, if you choose to do this type of video, then the interviews don't have to be the one and only focus. You know, if the interviews are part of some other kind of event or happening or something that you want to showcase in your video. So we have lots of options. I wanted to show you just one more thing. So if you don't want to use your smartphone for the videos, then one option is to use your laptop, because most of your laptops have cameras in them. I mean, that's how you do Zoom or FaceTime or Skype. And for in the Mac, for example, it has the QuickTime player that is pre-installed. And so, and I use this a lot myself to take, like, I'll take a video of my daughter singing and send it to her grandma. And if you're using QuickTime, you just go to New Movie Recording. And the lighting's not good in here. It's kind of a gray day, but it's kind of, you know, right behind a window. It's not so good. So if I was going to do a real video here, I'd probably do it in a different room with better lighting. But I could just record myself here. So you could basically have your interviewee sit down in a room that has good lighting, and right down in front of it, like head and shoulders shot, hit record, record them, and then when you're editing in Adobe Rush, you just drag and drop that video. So in QuickTime, it'll save it as a .mov file or a .m4 and MP4, and you would just drag and drop that onto a track line in Rush and start editing that way. And that's basically what you're doing with videos from your smartphone too. So I mean, this is just another way of recording video. Or I could even do like a head and shoulders. I could have the other person sitting here next to me, like on a couch or something like that, and I could be asking them questions. So you could have yourself like interviewing your mom or dad or a friend or roommate. You probably have to back up a little bit more, like having the laptop on a coffee table or something, and just, you know, practicing to, you know, have a good head and shoulder shot before you press record. So that's just another way. If you don't want to use your smartphone, you just record the video. On PCs, I think they have Video Maker is pre-installed, but there's lots of applications you can get and record the video, and then you take that. Presumably you already have the Adobe Rush desktop application on your laptop, and you can just drag and drop the video from your wherever it's saved on your computer, just like you would the video that you would take on your smartphone. Okay, so I hope everyone enjoys this project and have fun with it. Be creative. Just make sure you're on top of the minimal guidelines here, and check out these tutorials that I showed you in the previous video. So have a great week. If you have any questions, just email me. Take care.